Welcome into Around the Felt. Week 1 of the NFL is now officially in the books. I'm super excited to be here with my co-host Colin after 1 week of the NFL. It's Monday night. We're recording before the Bears-Vikings game. We're recording before that, so that we won't touch on that game, but we'll touch on every other game. And maybe we'll touch on that a little bit on the week 2 predictions and talk about those teams. But Colin, before we get into anything, how are you doing tonight, man?
Not the best Monday for me. Giants just looked like the same old Giants, so wasn't in the best mood. Going to work today did not feel very good. But, it was fun to watch some football, some very competitive games this weekend. And, a lot to touch on, a lot of overreaction Mondays going on around the league. So excited to dive into all that.
Yeah, dude. I mean, that is fair. Like, it does kind of suck on a Monday when your team loses.
I forgot. It's been so long since, that feeling. And, usually I'm kind of numb to it at this point with the Giants. Yeah. So I'm sure you are with the Jets as well.
Yeah.
You're in the same boat.
I mean, our loss, at least I had some
put some points on the board. At least they were entertaining.
Yeah. It was definitely a different type of pain. Heartbreaking.
We'll get into all that.
Yeah.
We'll get into all of it. First, let's touch on some news here before we get into the major injuries around the week. Jameson Williams signs an extension with Detroit Lions over the weekend, a 3-year, $83 million extension. I actually saw Jordan Schultz tweet it out. When he signed this extension, he had 83 career catches. So $1 million per catch is the way that he put it. And I'm like, damn, when you put it that way, it's pretty interesting. Obviously, his first year out for most of it with the knee. Second year got off to a rough start with the gambling suspension. Last year, he was finally able to break out, go for over 1,000 yards. Your thoughts on this extension, though, Reagan? Is that too much money for Jameson Williams, given what you've seen from him thus far?
No, I think it's worth it. I mean, dude's an absolutely burner. He obviously is so dynamic in this offense. Well, he didn't look super dynamic yesterday, and this offense looked a little clunky maybe with the loss of Ben Johnson, that kind of stuff, and the Packers being much improved and at home. Dude is so valuable. What he does is undeniable, and I think you want to lock up guys like that and get them now before they try to, have another big season and try to break the wide receiver mark. So I think, they're betting on him getting better and trying to almost get his price point at a lower price point.
Yeah, it makes sense. They still have the 5th-year option as well. So, now he's locked up in Detroit for years to come. I believe it's 5 years now. So, hey, I agree, too. It might look ugly now, like paying that much money. But, next year and in 2 years, all the cap does go up. And in the Lions' mind, in 27, 28, this is going to look like a bargain. Obviously, they've had him in the building for 3 years now. He's got that different element that he adds to the offense. He's unlike Amon-Ra or Laporta. He's that burner. He could score from anywhere. So I'm fine with it, absolutely. But now he's locked up as a core piece for this Detroit Lions team for the foreseeable future.
Facts.
But unfortunately, that's done with the good news. We got some bad news, especially if you are a Niners fan. Yes, you did still get the win over the Seahawks, a team that neither you or I are necessarily high on for this season, Reagan. But, George Kittle pulled the hammy after he scored a touchdown. And, the offense just didn't look the same after that. And it looks like he's going to miss 3 to 5 weeks. Really, really brutal. Now, they have New Orleans next week. And, hey, while we're talking about the Niners, Brock Purdy also questionable for this upcoming week with a toe and shoulder injury. They do have the Saints on deck. Do you think they roll with Mac Jones and sit Purdy? And then, of course, no Kittle. Juwan Jennings got beat up. A lot of problems in Niners land right now.
Yeah, no, it's coming at just a normal rate for the Niners,
It's nothing new in San Francisco. You got them going deep, man. You a little nervous?
No. Because as long as they get into the dance, I'm excited. I mean, McCaffrey looked great. He was utilized like crazy. I know everybody was worried about that. Even if Kittle misses a little bit of time, like it just seems like Shanahan will have this offense humming. I would think they'll probably roll out with Purdy still if he's like even as long as he can play like 50%. But if they go out with Mac Jones, I still think they can get the win. I mean, I wouldn't feel as confident. I'm not taking him in Survivor then, but if Purdy's playing, they're a nice Survivor pick. But that might be one of the Saints' few wins this year.
Yeah, I mean, hey, put some respect on Mac Jones's name. If you look at Brian Thomas's numbers last year with Trevor Lawrence compared to Mac Jones, I mean, you'd think Mac Jones was the better quarterback than T-Law. And we'll get into T-Law and how he did not look very good this week. But hey, maybe Mac Jones can carve up that Saints defense next week. We'll see. I don't know. It is still very early in the season. I don't know if it's worth pushing Purdy. They say the toe is more significant than the shoulder right now, actually. So,
Yeah.
not ideal. And finally, injury news. Of course, Xavier Worthy in the game Friday night. Him and Travis Kelce just smashed into each other. Shoulder injury, separated. And that could be very different severities. It could have been something that's more season-ending with surgery necessary. But for the time being, they call him day-to-day, going to play with a brace. But this is something that will bother him probably for the rest of the season. Not a good start in Chiefs land.
No. That sucked. It sucked for Garrett's felt 5 pick also, but
yeah,
and it sucked for the Chiefs offense. I mean, Mahomes still did Mahomes things, but you saw they definitely struggled early on to get in a rhythm, losing him. And Hollywood, I saw he was ultra targeting, and he wasn't really. It took him a while to get woken up. But for fantasy, Hollywood, if he's on your waivers, he's like a top waiver claim this week because the volume and target share he had. I mean, he's going to be the number one in this offense. And even Juju Smith-Schuster, I would go try to pick up. Tyquan Thornton. Any of those three are definitely guys, if they're on your waivers, you must pick up in that order, I'd probably say, just because Thornton's the bigger burner. But Juju, I think will have more targets. So I always lean heavier on the target than the burner. But yeah, all three guys go try to get.
Yeah, absolutely. That wraps up the news. I believe we got a good amount of questions tonight. Appreciate you guys sending those in.
We do got a good amount of questions, so I'm going to get into them. And a couple of them, for those of you that submitted them, we're pushing them off to the predictions episode because you asked this stuff for week 2. So going forward, if it's a recap pod, just ask recap questions. But we're going to start out with our buddy Caleb, Mr. Around the Bases. He wants to know, what is your level of concern for the Broncos following that narrow victory over the Titans?
Hey, man, my level of concern is not very high. I mean, it was a 20-12 win. The defense did exactly what I expected them to do. Of course, Bo Nix and the turnovers is a slight concern. This Titans defense, I wasn't necessarily super high on, but hey, they do have L'Jarius Sneed missed a lot of last season too. So, there's some guys, Jeffrey Simmons played really well. There's some guys that really outperformed expectations. Hey, it's week 1. It's not time to hit the panic button. You still won the game. Bo Nix, we saw what he did last year. I'm not worried about him and the turnovers. He's going to clean it up. They'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean, plus the Titans didn't even have over 100 yards of total offense or 200 yards of total offense. And on top of that, I know you said you're not high on the Titans defense, but they were very good last year as well. The issue was they had such a bad offense that was going 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out every time. So no matter, even if you have a top 5 defense, if your offense is continually putting you in bad positions, you're eventually going to crack. So I'm not worried about the Broncos at all. Yeah, you'd like to see them win by more, but they still covered the spread. It's crazy. Vegas had it at 7.5 and they win by 8. It's just somehow they win by the hook.
I know. We had 7.5 in our picks. I saw it by game time move to 9. And I was like, oh boy.
Brutal.
They didn't cover that 9, but they covered when we got in. So we're all good over here.
Yeah. And I'm sure you felt pretty rewarded. If you're one of those people that drafted early on the Broncos defense, I mean, 16 fantasy points in week 1, that is very nice. There were a lot of duds, but that is one that did not dud you. And his second question, are the Dolphins just going to be a bad team this year? Or do you see any way to fix them?
Look, reports coming out from Miami today are, Tyreek Hill, there's concerns with him. Is he going to be on the team? But they still believe that they are a good team. Look, I don't think they're a good team. I think their secondary is maybe the worst in football, and they already had, Storm Duck got hurt, so he didn't even play it. It's wait, he was an undrafted guy that was supposed to be your starting corner? This might be a problem. I mean, Daniel Jones had one of the best games he's had in probably 3 years. In his first game with the Colts. I mean, Michael Pittman went off as well. Tyler Warren went off. The passing game was phenomenal. And when a Daniel Jones-led team hangs 33 points on your head, that's a goddamn concern. When Tua looks that bad against a Colts defense that, let's be honest, 2024 was awful. I understand they made additions to secondary, Javarius Ward and Cam Bynum, and they should be an improved defense. A lot of young bucks in the D-line, but still, that's a problem. I don't think this Colts team is scary by any stretch of the means. Yeah, they went in there and it was belt to ass. I am absolutely concerned about Miami.
Yeah, Tua did not look good. The team just looked terrible, terrible, and they made Daniel Jones look like a comeback player of the year.
Yeah, but you must be feeling good about that pick after week 1 and your Herbert MVP, dude. I mean, that's a good start for you.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So, but yeah, I mean, as a Jet fan, no, Dolphins are fine. But yeah, no, if Dolphins fans, you should definitely be worried. But that's why we highlighted, going in our offseason like episode and getting into the predictions of what we thought would happen this year. Like Mike McDaniel's seat is very hot. I think this team just you're already seeing the brakes start to fall off. Like they need that win against the Patriots bad next week. I don't want to say it's a must win, but the next 2 weeks, the next week is just they got to win it, man. If they get blown out again against the division rival, it's going to get ugly in Miami.
Reagan, I got a question for you.
Uh-huh.
What % chance would you put it that before the trade deadline, Tyreek Hill is a Kansas City Chief?
Like 10%. I don't think that's going to happen.
10% is still like pretty high. Like I don't think it's crazy to think the Chiefs with the Worthy injury, if that shoulder gets aggravated again, Tyreek Hill could be on his way back to Kansas City. I could totally see it happening. It seems like such an Andy Reid and Veach move.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think there's a very good chance he gets traded. I don't know. I mean, I think there's like 100% chance he gets traded at this point.
I just find it before the deadline, right?
Yeah. So that's why I'm saying like 10% chance because like they're probably like 6th or 7th in odds. Because I think if you're trading away, that means you're giving up on the season and just going to clean house and maybe even I don't know. I mean, if Tua looks like this, I mean, hey, it's overreact. It's week 1. It's overreact.
It is week 1, but it's a tough start for Miami.
Yeah. All right, Caleb. So that's what he had. Now we're gonna go to Kyle, who we know. He wants to know, in a dynasty league, should I trade Isaiah Pacheco?
Well, he is a Rutgers guy. We know you're such a big Rutgers guy, so no. Now I will say, Pacheco, I don't think he scored double-digit fantasy points in like 10 games or something like that. Like there's absolutely a concern, and my biggest concern is every third down he was trotting off the field and Kareem Hunt was coming in the game, which is a monster role that you want in that Chiefs offense because Mahomes' average depth of target is not necessarily high. He's not chucking the ball downfield like when he had Tyreek Hill. He's throwing the ball short and the backs get involved a lot. And if old ass Kareem Hunt is taking that role, I am absolutely concerned about Pacheco. Problem is, I don't know what you can get for him now because I don't think his value's ever been lower.
Yeah, his value is at its floor right now, and the thing that really sucks is, running backs' value is always lower than wide receivers anyway for Dynasty. And on top of that, like the fact that he was a 7th round pick, he's on his rookie deal, he's cheap, but I think this is his 3rd year in the league, so he's not in the contract year yet, but he's also not playing himself into a nice future contract for Dynasty where it's like, all right, maybe he leaves Kansas City and gets the lead role somewhere else. Like right now, he looks like he's playing himself into being a backup somewhere else or signing a 1-year prove-it deal, similar to what Javonte Williams got with the Cowboys. And I'm trying to think, and like Rico Dowdle got with the Panthers. Like these guys that have showed some flashes, but they're getting the 1-year prove-it deals where it's like now you got to go prove it that you can be the lead back and we pay you the big time money. So I don't think you can get rid of Pacheco right now, but if he does have 1 or 2 big games over the next couple weeks, I would get rid of him. I don't believe in him at all. I don't want any stock of him in Dynasty, and I didn't take him anywhere in redraft because I do think this is going to become a timeshare very fast. And we already saw the rookie out of SMU, Brashad Smith, was involved early. Like he was within the first quarter. So I think by the end of the year, there's a chance he's the lead back in Kansas City.
Yeah, I 100% agree, and that's why I have 0 Pacheco shares, best ball, like everything. Just did not touch him because that Chiefs backfield, which should be dynamite for fantasy, just is not.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Kyle. So now we move on to Drock. Hey, Drock, appreciate you asking some questions. So he goes, isn't offering Travis Etienne for a 2nd year lowballing in a dynasty league?
Oh, a 2nd round pick. It probably is what
I see what he's saying. Let me rephrase this. He wants to know, isn't offering Travis Etienne for a 2nd round pick lowballing in a dynasty league?
I would say no, because he was awful last year, and I don't think he's worth the first. So that means I think he's worth the second, maybe a little bit more than a second, but he certainly is not worth the first. After, he looked great in week 1, and trust me, I'm the guy who's been beating the Etienne drum all off season that I'm banking on his bounce back. So fuck yeah, I'm happy about that week 1 performance from Travis Etienne. Still doesn't mean I think he's worth the first round pick right now.
So what I'd say about him, because I'm not nearly as high on him as Colin may be, I would sell him. I would sell in redraft leagues, sell high on this. I mean, he's not going to replicate that efficiency. While the volume was there, I think they're going to go with a hot hand approach. And he just happened to be the hotter back in this game at a Tootin, who didn't have a big role yet, and Bigsby. Like, it was pretty evident. And it's also, you got to remember, it's the Carolina Panthers. While I'm high on them, you've harped on it a lot. They have one of, if not the worst run defenses in the league. So I'd pump the brakes a little bit. But if you do have them in redraft, hey, try to sell high. Maybe you can get an upgrade. Maybe you got some dummies in your fantasy league, and there's some running backs that had some down weeks, and you're like, you could package ETN and someone to go get an upgrade. It's not a bad idea. I mean, there's always people that overreact after week 1. So definitely a guy I think you can use to leverage into a better situation. Or in your case, Strock, trade him for picks.
Just get some picks, dude. You
try to get a first rounder though.
Your team's not in any shape to be keeping veterans.
His next question is: what teams are on your do not bet list? Giants
after week 1.
Mark. Panthers ? Any
other
man.
Teams? Yeah, I mean, look, I don't usually like betting on the Giants anyways, so I didn't put any of my hard-earned dollars on the Giants. I like rooting for my team to root for my team. So, yeah, they're on my do not bet list, I guess, especially after that performance. Like, the Carolina Panthers, I know you're high on them. They're just a team that really scares me because, it's not even Bryce Young, who looked terrible, but it's also that defense I'm still concerned about. Did anyone really burn me? You know what, man? The Texans had every opportunity to win that game. I wouldn't say they're on the do not bet list, but that offensive line is a major, major concern for me. So it's almost like, shit, they're still going to get a lot of love from the betting markets because of CJ Stroud. And yeah, they've won 10 games the past 2 years, but I don't know. Is this a team that's going to beat up on the bad teams, given the way this offensive line looks? Slightly concerning for me.
There are 3 teams, and it's because I'm super, super low on them, that are on my do not bet list. It's the Seattle Seahawks, who their offense looked terrible.
I agree.
It is New Orleans Saints, because I'm never going to bet on Spencer Rattler or whoever they throw out.
I mean, agree.
maybe spread if it's like super juicy and they're at home, but still I wouldn't feel comfortable. And at that point, it's like, just call the hotline. And the New York Giants, as long as Russell Wilson is their starting quarterback, there's just no point, because that was disgusting. And they've already come out and said he's going to be starting against the Cowboys. So that's an easy fade for me. But if it's Jameis, call me intrigued. And Jackson Dart, I will not do anything till I see it for a couple games.
Okay.
Or at least
that was my question. When Dart's eventually in by at least probably, I don't know, they got Kansas City week 3. They got LA week 4. Maybe week 5 against the Saints is when if they're planning.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's like,
off the list.
Like I just said with the Saints, like I'm not going to bet on, if Shuck goes and I'm not betting them. Cam Ward, I guess the Titans are on it for now, because they can get off of it. Like if Cam Ward starts to prove it, but also, I believe in the talent of him, and I would like to see, Jackson Dart get some run, but also they have such a tough schedule as well. So, they can definitely get off. But if Jameis plays, Giants definitely would be fun to ride with, because it's the Jameis effect.
Valid.
That is the Jameis effect for you. All right, next question. We're going to go to Walmart. He goes, Tong was a tad too confident in his boys in blue. Let's go, Commanders, baby. Both of you give 2 guys that changed your mind about them and surprised you this week in fantasy.
Wow. I kind of saw that one coming because, of course, Walmart, Commanders fan, and they absolutely dominated my Giants, So that's why I didn't talk any shit before the game, because, even though I was optimistic. That's not what I expected.
Let me rephrase that question too, because I'll let that sink in, and I want to talk about that. I mean, hey, he was very confident. I mean, he literally said, like, this guy should be in jail right now, Walmart. He was willing to put his life savings on the Giants to beat your Commanders. This guy thought they were going to go into he thought they were going to go into Washington, D.C., this nation's capital, led by Let's Ride Russell Wilson, and destroy the Commanders. Like, what? They didn't even put up a touchdown against the NFC Championship runner-ups. What? That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to ask his question now. So he wants to know 2 guys from each of us that we changed our mind on and are surprised us in fantasy this week.
You know what? This might be cheating. I'm going to pick one guy in particular, Quentin Johnston, but also I want to loop Keenan Allen into that mix as well. That Chargers passing attack looked lethal. And against the Kansas City Chiefs, they got a legit secondary. Of course, Trent McDuffie. Like, they got some dogs on that defense. Spags, one of the best DCs of all time. I mean, look, I have Quentin Johnston the bench in multiple dynasty leagues. I didn't realize this was going to be his breakout year. But you know what? His hands look good. He looked explosive. 2 touchdowns. Wide receiver 1, Quentin Johnston, like we all thought. The end of the week.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't expecting that kind of the breakout. I mean, I'm not going to – I guess Bill, Krosky Merritt on the Commanders. A lot of people were worried, like they had him at 4 on the depth chart, and then –
which was always silly. Rodriguez was a healthy scratch. That's why you don't look at unofficial depth charts. Who gives a shit?
But then,
and look, Bill didn't even have a ton of snap share and still went off.
Yeah, but I mean, for the rushing attempts, I mean, he had 10, and Eckler and McNichols combined for 10. So that's something to be said there going forward. That'll be nice. It seems like, he's already kind of here's the lead back, or in a sense, but I think by the end of the year, he's going to have a big chunk of the snaps. I mean, Eckler will still have the third down role. He's a hell of a receiving back, but that was refreshing to see. I'm trying to think some other guys that really stood out to me early on.
I tell you what, Kenneth Walker, stock down. That is concerning. Charbonnet getting more of the carries, getting the goal line work, getting the 2-minute drill. That is a major concern for Kenneth Walker fantasy holders, because that's the biggest thing to take away from week 1, right? It's not, oh shit, and like Nico Collins only had like 20 yards. Like that's not a concern to me. It's a long season. Yeah. What is a concern to me is snap share for guys that are competing, right? Like that is a problem. That is more of a tale of what's going to happen the rest of the season, because, Jamar Chase had a bad game. You know what? Jamar Chase and Nico Collins might go for $150 next week, and it's all's fine in the world, right? But if Charbonnet is still getting 70, 65% of the snaps and you drafted Kenneth Walker, that's a major concern.
Well, and hey, that's why I made that whole video on TikTok where a lot of Seattle fans and a lot of people were calling me dumb, stupid, all this stuff. I'm like, hey, I don't care. Look at the numbers. Charbonnet was the more efficient back last year. And okay, that was last year, but I thought for sure it'd be a 50-50 timeshare. I couldn't have actually been more right. Charbonnet is the lead back. Now you're like, it's insane. I mean, maybe there's more underlying and Walker was banged up, but I haven't seen any reports like indicating that it was a health thing for why. I think it's just Charbonnet has been better and Walker's on the last year of his deal. And I think this regime wants to know, like, can we go ahead with Charbonnet as our guy and let Walker walk this offseason? But I do think Charbonnet's the better player right now.
Yeah, it's really, really sad from, of course, Walker from Sparty, guy we root for. Just not what you want to see. And yeah, it's looking like this will be his last year in Seattle if that keeps up.
Yeah. But honestly, and, if Zach Charbonnet's out there in your leagues, or, maybe you have him in a league, you might be able to, he's a guy I might be trying to acquire. I mean, he's definitely interesting because you could, see where it goes. I mean, if he ends up continuing to take more and more of a snap percentage. Also, speaking of that game, it's clear that Brian Robinson's the one to have, because Garendo didn't even have a rushing attempt, and Robinson had 9. So we kind of assumed
you could drop him, dude.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say you could drop Garendo. I mean, but yeah, I mean, I know that's just RIP to anyone who drafted him in an underdog. I know I did a lot.
I know. Dart throw that just never reached the board.
Yeah. Oh, and one more, Javonte Williams. It was a Thursday night game. I forgot about that. He looked good. I will say, though, it's hard to fully gauge it with Jalen Carter going down, but he looked good to me.
I don't know. It wasn't like he was breaking tackles and efficient and explosive. Like he scored 2 touchdowns from the one. If he didn't score 2 touchdowns from the one, we're looking at it like a dud.
No, but he had a couple carries where he was like getting 6-7 yards. I'm like, you know what? He looks like he has the lion's share of the back. And also, like, at the end of the day, it's fantasy. You could try to sell high, but at the end of the day, I agree. You should try to sell high, but at the end of the day, like, volume is always key. And he did have 15 carries. Okay.
That is true. Miles Sanders also fumbled. So
So, and
But
Jadon
Sanders
Blue
had
will
the
be
long run.
back. Yeah, but I think Sanders is still probably
I think they're both
not to worry
washed,
about.
to be honest with you.
So
I think they're both washed. Just which one's
maybe
left.
sell high on Miles Sanders, but it definitely is something to look at. That's all I'm saying.
Yep. Is that all the questions?
Yeah, sorry, that's all we had.
All right, man. That's all the questions. Appreciate you guys throwing those our way. Let's get into these ball games a little bit. Before we do, the picks. Reagan and I are actually tied going into Monday Night Football. We both went 8-7 against the spread. We both went 10-5 straight up. I have Minnesota tonight against the spread and straight up. Reagan has the Bears. So the winner of week 1 comes down to Monday Night Football. But I already kind of won week 1 with the big bet of the week with the Chargers. Keep the damn points, Reagan. Keep the damn points. Chargers money line. Come on. If you haven't checked out the video of Reagan chugging the red wine, please do.
It was definitely fun to do that. And it is interesting that our records are so like that because we were pretty against each other. Like we didn't have a lot of the same shit. So it's funny how that worked out. And do you want to update them on the Felt 5 as well?
Yeah, the Felt 5. Look, I apologize, everyone. I went 0 for 5. So, I'm a piece of shit. I absolutely admit it. And I'm going to work harder to do better for all you. I'm down 16.15 units after 1 week. Reagan's down 11 units. Garrett's down 7.9. Zach's down 8.15. And then Drock is down 0.18. So basically even. So Drock, as everyone would have thought, Drock wins week 1.
Yeah, Drock does win week 1 of the Felt 5.
Still the name.
How did Big Dogs do? Did we
go? Big Dogs did not do too hot. We only hit one, and that was we only hit
Connor.
one, and that was James Conner, which is.
And then the wheel went 0-4. So what we're saying is week 1 really doesn't mean anything. Okay.
No, yeah, I mean we're rusty as too.
0-3. I'm sorry.
We don't.
1 of 4 after this recording. We have Adam Thielen tonight. So.
Adam Thielen's gonna hit. So yeah, unfortunately, not a great week. I mean, fuck. Henderson didn't get in. Neighbors dropped a touchdown. Nico, I mean, what the fuck was that? I mean, that was just a pathetic performance from Houston. So whatever. We'll get into it. All right, we'll start with the Thursday night game here. Cowboys Eagles. Of course, everyone watched that game. Jalen Hurts, very high completion rate. Did not really throw the ball downfield. Didn't really need to for them to get the win here, 24-20 at home. He did his thing with the legs, 2 rushing touchdowns, 62 rushing yards. Barkley, only 60 yards. I tell you what, that Dallas run defense looks better. Absolutely. But, he still had a touchdown. Receiving-wise, of course, Jahan Dotson leading receiver as everyone anticipated. Overreaction Monday is Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown did absolutely nothing. But when you're the Eagles, you still can win games with your 2 wide receiver ones doing absolutely nothing. And, of course, the story for the Dallas Cowboys is CeeDee Lamb. Probably the worst 7 for 110 game in NFL history with 4 drops. Really let them down at the end of the game there. Javonte, 2 touchdowns. I got to say, Dak looked really damn good in my mind. First game back after a while. Your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I agree with you. Dak did look really good in this game. I mean, he was moving around that pocket smoothly. I mean, he looked healthy. He looked, honestly, Dallas as a whole, even though they lost this game, they looked good. Like I thoroughly feel like this game should have been won by them. Obviously, they were gifted, Jalen Carter
spitting
on a platter.
Yeah, my God.
It's hard to say if the game would have gone the same, and also like the lightning delay kind of killed Philly's offensive momentum there.
What a weird
fumble. So there were a couple breaks that went Dallas's way. But I was still impressed by them. I think they'll be better than I thought. Defensively, I mean, they seem to have, Saquon bottled up for the most part. I mean, 18 for 60 really isn't anything special, only 3.3 a carry. So, last year's top rusher, that's very impressive. So you can already see kind of the Kenny Clark effect bringing him in, what he was able to do. I mean, unfortunately, they only had 1 sack on Hurts, but who's to say they wouldn't have had 1 sack anyway? I mean, Hurts is a very mobile guy, and the Eagles scheme is kind of run first and get the ball out quick. So Hurts is a guy that doesn't really get sacked a ton anyway with that great offensive line. And who had Jahan Dotson as the leading receiver on their bingo card? Not me. New wide receiver 1 in Philly. But my biggest, Philly, I'm not worried about it at all. I think they'll probably roll this week against Kansas City. But yeah, what did you think?
Bro, what happened to your camera?
I'll fix it.
Disappeared from me.
Yeah, I'm still here. You can go though.
Yeah, I want to see that pretty mug. Yeah, I mean, for me, the biggest takeaway is the Cowboys are going to be better than I thought. Dak Prescott, I mean, they left a lot of meat on the bone there. His receivers did. He should have thrown for 300 yards, in my opinion. And, I understand this Eagles secondary is, it's a slight concern right now when Adoree Jackson was lining up as your CB2 to start the game, who's completely washed. Keely Ringo did not win that job. I think if you look at that secondary for the Eagles, I am concerned outside of Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. I think if you look at that pass rush for Philadelphia, I'm also concerned outside of Nolan Smith. Of course, no Jalen Carter in the interior. Still concerned about the edge position, though. Look, this young Eagles defense is going to need to take some lumps early. But, I mean, let's be honest. This team is just way too damn talented, especially on offense. They didn't even need their 2-star receivers to get the win. So, not concerned about Philadelphia. They'll be fine. They're going to win this division. Dallas, shit, maybe they could be in the wild card hunt, which is not what I anticipated.
Yeah, no, I mean, it'll be interesting, but we can move on to the next one.
Next, we got Chargers Chiefs, of course, the big bet of the week. Me getting the dub with the Chargers. 27-21 victory in Brazil. Look, I'm not going to lie. In this game, I thought at the end when Mahomes had a chance down by 6, well, I thought he was going to get the chance, that 3rd and long, right? And I was really nervous because, of course, the Amari and Hampton mistake at the end of the half to kind of gift the Chiefs 3 points when they got down the field and got that field goal. I was like, you know what? This is such a Chiefs game where it looks like they're going to lose and they're going to come back and win. But Superman Justin Herbert with that big scramble on 3rd down had 32 rushing yards. 32 rushing yards. Look, that running game for Herbert is an X factor for this team. But he balled out, throwing for 318 yards, 3 touchdowns. Quentin Johnston, 2 of them. Keenan Allen, 1. Both Johnston, McConkey, and Keenan Allen all more than 68 receiving yards. That trio looked really damn good against a great Chiefs defense. And on the Chiefs side, man, Mahomes looked great too. 258, a touchdown, 57 rushing, and a touchdown. He uses his legs as well. Hollywood Brown, of course, 10 for 99 with Worthy going down. Kelsey, only 2 catches, but a touchdown. I don't know, man. For me, no concern about the Chiefs long term. I think these are 2 playoff teams in my mind. So just a good football game, to be honest with you. Are you concerned about anything on the KC side, or what do you think about how good Justin Herbert looked?
Yeah, I mean, I was happy with how Herbert looked. That is for sure. I mean, definitely starting his MVP case out early. Same with Harbaugh starting his Coach of the Year case out early. I was just impressed with all facets of it. I would have liked to see them establish the run more, but we got some breaking news. The Eagles are trading for Tank Bigsby.
Wow, that is huge for Etienne. Let's go! Fire me up!
Wow, that is big. And that is big for Byshell Tootin stocks as well. For those who, may have drafted him in your underdog leagues or in your fantasy drafts late, hoping that he would steal the job for the 2 of them. That comes a lot more clear for them now. But now it's a 2-headed monster there in Jacksonville.
Holy
but also,
shit.
that makes me question the health of Saquon, because why, when you have it might be a Shipley Dillon thing, but that definitely makes me a little nervous too. Why are they, the Eagles of all teams, trading for Tank Bigsby?
Well, I'm not going to lie. Shipley barely got any touches, I understand, but he was in very early in that game, had a good reception where he almost scored. So I'm surprised. I mean, my Will Shipley handcuff is now dead. I mean, I could drop him now, but well, I am a little bit surprised by that move from Philadelphia's perspective if Barkley's healthy.
Yeah, might be something going on with probably one of the 2 backups.
Wow. Interesting, man. Very interesting. Everyone was saying Etienne was the one that was going to get traded. It's Tank Bigsby, which means, yes, Etienne, that guy in the Liam Cohen offense. Oh, my goodness. I feel a lot better about that call out. Thank you for trading him to me, Reagan. Really appreciate it.
No problem. I'll take the picks, Montgomery and Diggs. It's okay.
I got the picks.
Anyway, where
thoughts on Justin Herbert, MVP?
Yeah. So
Travis I was Kelsey, 2 catches.
Yeah. And on the Chiefs side of things, like I said, I mean, like you saw Hollywood Brown get ultra targeted. He ended with 10 for 99, like you said, and Juju was 5 for 55, and Thornton, had 2 catches. But those are guys you want to go target. The running back room is disgusting. I want no part of it. I mean, I would think they're going to try to establish the run more going forward, but that was disgusting. I mean, Mahomes led the team in carries with 6. So
that was so bad. So bad.
Even if one of these guys does happen to win the job, is it really someone you want? Like,
I mean, it's like, I don't know. It's not the high-powered Chiefs offense, right? Like when Clyde Edwards-Helaire was a rookie, everyone drafted him in the top 10 of fantasy drafts because the Chiefs had the best offense in football. They don't have that anymore. They're not that same Chiefs team. So
and they have
I
a
don't know.
tough schedule too. I mean, I guess week 3 against the Giants would be their best chance. And if they can't even have a positive game script there where they're able to establish the run, I mean, when are you going to be able to do it? Because then you get the Ravens, who obviously a juggernaut team, could totally boat race you again. You have the Eagles next week. You still have the Lions in the next couple weeks. The Jaguars offense looked good against Carolina, but let's not overreact yet. But they got a tough. Then they got the Commanders and Bills coming up. So they got a lot of games where it's like, if you get boat raced like that and you're trailing the whole time, like when is there going to be a good week for these running backs to actually get the carries and volume needed? And clearly they're not utilized in the receiving game because this was a negative game script where they were trailing most of the game and Mahomes wasn't targeting them. Like Hunt had 3 targets. Pacheco had 3 targets, but they weren't valuable. It was 2 for 10 and 2 for 3. So, these running backs are not startable in my opinion. Like if I had Pacheco, I would not feel confident. I'd be trying to get him away as soon as possible.
Yeah, I'm not starting any of those backs. All right, let's move on. You got to talk about my Giants losing to the Commanders 21-6 on the road. Really just nothing to write home about on the Giants side to talk about. I mean, Neighbors 5 for 71 on 12 targets. They just couldn't get him the ball downfield. I mean, Wan'Dale Robinson made some plays. Defensively, the pass rushers looked good at times. They also disappeared at times. I understand part of that's Jaden Daniels and his mobility. But I thought Burns and Thibodeau and Carter all looked good. Dexter Lawrence was a ghost, didn't do anything. The secondary, they did fine. They held Terry McLaurin down to 27 yards, Debo at 77, but obviously it was the offense and Russell Wilson's inability to really do anything. The offensive line was god-awful against the pass rush from the Commanders, which is not necessarily that elite, but hey, if you're the Commanders, you did what you had to do. You got to tip the cap to their red zone defense, particularly inside the 10-yard line. They were elite in that regard. Jaden Daniels just picked apart the Giants' zone defense the entire game. They can't go man because all Jaden would just do is run. And then we mentioned Bill earlier, 10 for 82, a touchdown. Jaden added 68 himself on the ground. Debo was great. I mean, if you're the Commanders, you took care of business in a game that you expect to win at home. I really don't want to dive into the Giants anymore. I'm sick to my stomach. Your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, let me dive into it. I mean, from a Giants perspective, if I'm a Giants fan, I am good with Russell Wilson. Like I would already be pissed off the fact that Daboll's came out and said he's playing next week. Like the season's not going to go well, so you might as well let Jackson Dart learn, develop, and let him learn. Like even playing Jameis Winston, like, wow, yeah, it's fun. It's a waste. He's not your future. It's Dart. So try to get him in as early as possible. Let's see what he can do. And on the Washington side of things, I mean, I feel like you could have put up a lot more points here. You kind of let the Giants hang around a lot when there wasn't a whole lot of them going on offense. I'm not really sure if I believe in this Commanders defense yet. Like, yeah, you allowed 6 points, but it's the Giants offense with Russell Wilson, so it's hard to really gauge how legit they are. But I guess my biggest takeaway for the Commanders is Debo is a great addition and seems like he's going to be super involved here. So if you got him late in drafts, he may actually be an incredible value. But let's wait and see too, because Terry wasn't really around all offseason and now is getting involved again.
Yeah, that is true as well. Yeah, I'm just so sick of Russell Wilson. It was like, the offensive line was very, very, very bad. I will say it, but it was just like he caught the ball and within 2 seconds he's looking down at the rush and trying to move around and he can't see over the line. And I was like, he looks fucking god awful. Like Russell Wilson looked awful. So not a lot of optimism for my Giants when I had a lot of optimism before the game. So sick to my stomach. Let's move on from that dumpster fires. Yep. The Buccaneers go on the road and get a win against the Falcons, 23-20. Look, this Tampa Bay offense didn't necessarily light it up. Baker had 3 touchdown passes, but only 167 passing yards. The run game was not really there. Bucky Irving, only 37 yards. The big thing to take away from the running back room, though, is Bucky 14 carries to Rashad White's 2 carries. So, yeah, he's completely taken over that backfield as he should. Leading receiver, this one felt really good. Emeka Egbuka, 4 for 67, 2 touchdowns. Just thrilled because I've been beating that drum all offseason as well. Very high on him. Sorry I fucked up on the graphic, guys. I meant 57.5 and reversed it and put 75.5. So that was my 4-unit play. I won money. If you took 75.5, I apologize.
So, folks, moral of the story is if you're dyslexic, go to the doctor, get prescribed some medication so you can fix that so you can make people money and not fuck people out of money.
He had 67, so yeah, I apologize, guys. Mike Evans, 5 for 51, looked good. Bucky did add a touchdown as well. For the Atlanta side, I mean, of course, what do you expect when you play Tampa Bay? It's going to be hard to run the football. They got nothing going on the ground at all. However, Penix threw for 298 and a touchdown. That's awesome. Bijan had 6 for 100 yards and a touchdown. Of course, that 50-yard touchdown in the first quarter was absolutely electric. The way that Bijan moves on the field is like, oh, it's unbelievable, man. It's just it's an awesome thing to watch. Kyle Pitts, 7 for 59. Let's go. Is this the year for Kyle Pitts? And Drake London, 8 for 55. Tough loss for Atlanta at home. We were both on the Bucs there, so glad we got that one right. Man, hey, for fantasy football, though, I love what I'm seeing here. Emeka Buka, Bijan Robinson, Kyle Pitts, Drake London, Bucky Irving will get his, but I like both of these ball clubs a lot.
Yeah, no, I mean, I really liked what I saw from Penix. I mean, he, great stretching, first off. I mean,
yeah, dude, what a fucking play. Yeah, at the end of the game there, man.
He did that in college a couple times, too. I remember seeing it when he was before he even transferred to Washington and Indiana. He had a big stretch, too. So he might just be a good stretch guy.
Bijan said early in the week, he's like, people are sleeping on his athleticism. Like, the guy can move, and that is Exhibit A right there.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I'll say, you got to, be really careful with starting running backs against this Buccaneers defense. They are so freaking good against the run. Algier, 10 for 24. Bijan, 12 for 24. I mean, he was saved because he had 100 receiving yards. But Bijan was almost on that list of duds as well, if it's not for the big 50-yard touchdown catch.
Mm-hmm.
And even Penix, 6 for 21. I mean, the stingy 2.5 yards a carry they allowed. So, I mean, it's like if you don't have, one of the studs, if you have a flex option RB, bench him against the Bucs. You're touchdown reliant. They're not going to give up a lot of yards. And I guess the receivers are where you want to target in the matchup, knowing that fact. Bucs side of things, I mean, hey, Baker did what he needed to do. The 3 touchdowns were huge. You like to see more yards there. Bucky wasn't super efficient, but like you said, I mean, it's early in the year. He got the touchdown, and you look at this, the volume and he was involved in the passing game as well with the 4 catches. So he might be just a full workhorse back now, because that was my little bit of concern with him while I was high on Bucky. It was, will he have that third down role and be involved in the receiving game as well, and not just a first and second down type guy. And also Cade Otton too. I thought he would be more involved with a lot of injuries. He burnt me in a fantasy league. So what's going on, Cade Otton?
Yeah, that's tough. Otton, I was pretty high on him too. I have him a lot of best ball, so not super happy with that week 1 performance.
So,
all right, you want to move on?
Yeah.
Next, we got Cincinnati at Cleveland. And hey, the Bengals, week 1 win. They didn't burn you in Survivor. They didn't cover the 5.5. They didn't burn you in Survivor, though, with a 17-16 win on the road against the division rival Cleveland Browns. Hey, what do we always say, man? Classic AFC North showdown, huh? Just sticking in the game. The Browns, I'm sure you're happy you switched your pick there, plus 5.5 for Cleveland.
Yeah, I was happy. It kind of went exactly how I thought it would, to a T.
Yeah.
In
Besides
the sense,
Flacco having 290 instead of the 300 yards.
I mean, I thought it was going to be in this, I guess, to a T in the sense where it was going to be very close at the end. I thought it was going to be super high scoring. I did give Cleveland's defense its flowers, but they kind of shut down the Bengals offense. The Bengals did not win this game. Cleveland lost this game, and more so the Cleveland wide receivers. I mean, between Judy and Tillman, those 2 bad plays where Flacco threw them where only they could catch it, and they tap it right back up in the air. That sucks. I mean, and then the kicker obviously missing the extra point and the field goal. So just some dumb mistakes, but Flacco looked good, and that's a game they should have won, but the defense looked good. Myles Garrett already 2 sacks. He's still him. The rookie Schwarzenegger with the 8 tackles. Love to see that. But, the running back shake up too. Jerome, I wasn't sure how it was going to work with Ford and Sampson. And obviously, the Judkins news. We didn't get into that earlier with the news, but
that's right. I forgot. How did I forget about my sweet prince Quinshawn, who I have in 2 fantasy leagues? Yeah, he signed a contract. He might play week 2. So help is coming for this Browns offense.
But Samson didn't look bad. I mean, the 8 for 64 in the air, like he'll be involved. I just think Ford's going to be the one that gets kicked out. And another rookie, Harold Fanning, too. I mean, he was heavily involved, and he was getting a lot of buzz at the end of best ball drafts. I saw him creeping up to like that 190 ADP, and I'm like, what's going on here? But I don't know. If you have Njoku, he might, or this could be a team where both guys are playable. I mean, Fanning was 7 for 63, so very much involved.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, are you concerned about Njoku? Because Fanning, 7 catches on 9 targets. He was the most targeted guy in the team.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely a guy I'm targeting in my fantasy leagues just to try to get some stock in. I mean, that's any tight end that gets 9 targets is a must play.
I know. I got him stashed on one of my taxis. I'm like, shit. I mean, I got to see it a little bit more, but he might get the elevation to the active roster on game days coming up.
I'm debating playing him in a redraft league where K-Nodden got me 0 last week. But also, it's kind of one of those things where it's like almost he got you 0. You kind of have to keep rolling with him because he's going to have a big week soon because the tight end position is so vital.
I know. I just want to shout out one guy on the Bengals defense, Demetrius Knight, because let's be honest. I know it's the Browns, but they only held him to 16 points here. Demetrius Knight, the rookie linebacker, could be very massive for this team, So Trey Hendrickson, of course, he had a sack as well. So, that's why you pay the man. But hey, I know Chase did nothing. T did nothing. Burrow did nothing. Chase Brown averaged just over 2 yards per carry. I guess maybe we're seeing more of that 2023 Cleveland Browns defense. That's what I'm going to give it to. They always start out a little rusty. I'm not concerned about the Bengals at all. Just happy they got the win.
Hey, I think a lot of people are. I mean, there really wasn't a lot of people getting eliminated in the Survivor. Unless you tried to get cute, you're probably in. Like, I think in mine, I saw a few people get kicked out with the Dolphins because they tried to get cute.
Yeah. You know what? I didn't even check because I was like, Arizona won, Cincinnati won, Denver won, Eagles won. I know a lot of people, like, that was kind of the popular picks.
Yeah, so. It's literally only if you got cute did you probably get kicked out.
Yeah, it feels good. Last year, I got kicked out week 1 from the Bengals. Stayed away this year. They got the job done, so it's fine. We'll save them for later. We'll save them later when they're hitting their stride. They're a much better team. Moving on, I know we touched this game a little bit earlier, so we won't dive too deep, but Colts Dolphins 33-8 win. We've already touched on the Dolphins and how bad they looked, how Tua was garbage, how that secondary was just pathetic, how Mike McDaniel's on the hot seat. Etienne only had 7 carries, had 55 yards. Tyreek, leading receiver, 4 for 40. Waddled nothing. Etienne, 3 for 20. Did score a touchdown, but didn't hit the 30 yards that I needed for my Felt 5 play. God damn it. For the Colts, Daniel Jones, 272 with a touchdown. Also added 2 rushing touchdowns on the ground. As everyone expected, 3 touchdowns from Daniel Jones. Michael Pittman looked great. Tyler Warren, 9 targets, 7 for 76. Hell yeah. I love me some Tyler Warren. Great start for him. Hey, maybe this Colts team is a little bit sneaky. Maybe the Dolphins are a dumpster fire. I don't know. Which one do you think is more likely?
I think it's more likely that the Colts are sneaky. I think it's also pretty obvious that, Michael Pittman may be back with Daniel Jones. That was kind of the big thing was Anthony Richardson killed him.
I need to see more than one game, my guy DJ.
Anthony Richardson did kill him. Tyler Warren is definitely going to be heavily utilized by Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
Jonathan Taylor looked great regardless. I mean, a lot of red zone opportunities. Hope next time you just kind of hope that it doesn't go down the 2 Daniel Jones sneaks. Yeah. If you're a Jonathan Taylor fantasy owner, that kind of sucks because you feel like those should have been your 2 touchdowns. But it's also nice to see that they didn't really utilize anyone else till later. They got up big, and it's like at that point, like whatever, give DJ Giddens the garbage time work, the rookie. So I guess it's pretty clear that he's the handcuff to have for JT. So that aspect's nice because there was no other running back that came in after that. So I would say if you're a JT owner, go pick up Giddens knowing that he's going to be the one to have.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I have Giddens in some best ball.
Yeah, and I mean, he had 12 carries to Doolin's 1, so that tells you that. Zach Wilson got some run. Love to see that. Definitely love to see that. The only thing I'll say is I was kind of bummed out. I was hoping we got to see a little more Ollie Gordon on the Dolphins side, but we never really got to see him. I was hoping to see what he could do. But
very popular name in fantasy football circles right now.
Yeah, but really never got utilized. And, of course, Waddle got banged up. But, I mean, Dolphins just got big issues. But Colts are a team that are going to be interesting to follow this year.
For sure. Moving on, the Raiders took care of business on the road at the Pats, 20-13. I was surprised by this outcome. I'm not going to lie. I wasn't super high on the Raiders. Geno Smith, 24-34 for 362 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. Of course, Brock Bowers, 5 for 103. Slight concern with the knee going on right now, though. I know he didn't finish the game, so we didn't touch that in the news because there is no news about it yet. We don't know what happened, so we should know by the next pod what's going on with Brock Bowers and his outlook. Jacoby Myers, the man who requested a trade before the season, of course, had 97 yards and 8 catches, was really pumped up after the game saying, I just love playing with my guys. So, maybe that trade request is rescinded.
Well, let's also not forget where he came from.
The Patriots revenge game, of course.
Yeah, first time back.
We love revenge games here. Ashley Genty didn't do much, only 38 yards. I saw, though, Reagan.
You did get in
38 yards. He did get a touchdown. 38 yards, but 44 yards after contact. So tell me how that math works.
I guess a lot of contact and running backwards.
That means this Raiders offensive line might be a slight concern because I don't think the Patriots front is that dominant.
No, definitely not. I mean, Geno is going to be throwing the ball a lot, I think, this year. So I think his numbers are going to be up there. And if Bowers misses any time, if you are looking for a tight end, Michael Mayer, 4 for 38. Well, it's nothing crazy. He is a second-round drafted tight end. I believe he won the Belindikoff when he was at.
Well, that's the receiver. It's the O'Mackey
I'm sorry,
award. The
O'Mackey.
award.
Yeah, I believe he won that when he was in college. He was a second-round pick. So, and he's only a year 3 guy. So he's a guy, if Bowers misses any time, that I think you could plug and play right away.
To your point, Reagan, Pete Carroll came out and said after the game, we have 2 tight end ones. Talking about, of course, Brock Bowers and Michael Mayer. So, yes, if Bowers is out, that should be a high priority waiver for you. I mean, given we know how much the Raiders want to use their tight end, and that's before Pete Carroll even got here, who we know is going to be under center power football.
Yeah. So he's a guy I'd definitely be looking at, just have in the back of your mind. And on the Patriots side of things, I mean, the running back
the run game. What the hell, man? What the hell?
But I knew that you were way too high on Travion out of the gate. I knew it was going to be like this. He's got to earn the role from Ramondre. Like, he's still under contract. I know it's a new regime, but he's going to have to get the job over time. Ramondre's going to be involved. I mean,
they barely ran the ball in general.
And he wasn't efficient. So, honestly, you should be happy.
Yeah, it was only 12 carries between Travion and Ramondre. Ramondre averaged 2 yards a carry. Henderson had a long of 14, also had 6 catches for 24. So I like that. Ramondre was trash. I just think the entire run game in totality was trash. I'm surprised they threw the ball 46 times and ran it 18. That's a split that's not the recipe for success for the Pats at this point in time, given what their receiver room looks like. Although I believe in Drake Maye, who was 30 of 46 for 287, a touchdown, a pick. But, they spread the ball around. Keyshawn Boutte, 6 for 103. Hey.
Yeah, he's worth putting a waiver claim on. I mean, it's probably going to be one of those guys. I feel like every year, week 1, there's a couple of random names that go over 100 yards, and you put a waiver claim, and they're never get to that point. Like Alec Pierce last year, went off week 1, and it was not startable. So, we'll see. Diggs 6 for 57. Don't mind
Solid.
that. You'd like to see him get a touchdown. And Hunter Henry, 4 for 66, ended up still probably being one of the better tight ends. Still pretty clear that he's one of Drake May's favorite guys there.
Yeah, he's underrated for sure. For sure.
But
yeah, I'm not super concerned about. I mean, I don't know. It's not like I had the Patriots in the playoffs anyways, but 13 points against that Raiders defense is slightly concerning to me. Let's just chalk it up to a little bit of rest.
Yeah.
Cardinals take care of business 20-13 over the Saints. Probably the most popular survivor pick, I'd imagine. Maybe Denver was. Kyler Murray, 163, 2 touchdowns, kind of did his thing. The run game was not necessarily there outside of a 52-yard run from Trey Benson, who got hawked by a D lineman, by the way. And Benson ran a 4.4, so, that is interesting. Connor, only 39 rushing yards. Of course, he did have the touchdown, though, that we needed for big dogs. Not that it mattered because I let you all down. I'm sorry. Marvin Harrison, 5 for 71 and a touchdown, 45-yard long. You'd love to see that from Marv. They connected on a deep ball. Trey McBride, same as always, 6 for 61. Saints side, I mean, let's be honest, not too much to write home about here besides Kamara punching it in. Olave, 13 targets. You'll love to see that if you've been buying into his bounce back. I don't know. What else do you think from this game sticks out to you?
Yeah, I mean, I would have liked to see the Cardinals beat him by more, but I know Kyler was sick. It was good to see Marv get in the end zone early. Connor got in as well. I mean, it's pretty clear. I think it's going to become more of a 60-40, even maybe a 50-50 timeshare as the season progresses. I mean, Benson looked good, and 8 carries is in a game that was not a blowout.
Hey, you take him to second round. You got to use him at some point, buddy, right?
Yeah, so I think he'll definitely be involved this year. McBride 6 for 61. Love to see that. I did see a lot of Will Johnson hype. I guess
he looked good.
From what I saw. So it seems like they already got one. I saw he had 3 pass breakups, and I believe he did have an interception as well in this game. Did he not? Oh no, he didn't. I thought he did. But he had 3 pass breakups, so he looked good. So it looks like they got a great value there. Rattler didn't look terrible to me, but it just, he just looks like a guy that's never going to be the guy, So
yeah,
I would
know that. Yeah.
So, Kamara was solid. The 11 for 45 and one. The thing that killed you is he only had 2 catches. So that's, that's definitely something to be nervous about if, you got a quarterback throwing the ball 46 times and Kamara's only getting 2 of those 46 targets.
Yeah.
So that was always my big concern about Kamara.
An outlier right now. It's an outlier. He's going to be more involved next week. I think, I don't think it's time to alarm the bell. I think they're.
Well, what excites me?
He's going to be okay.
Chris Olave had 13 targets and got banged up multiple times and was in and out of the game. So
he did get cracked, bro.
So,
I'm just happy he wasn't the head.
So that's something that excites me. And Juwan Johnson was 8 for 76 with 11 targets. So any tight end getting 11 targets on waivers, definitely worth looking into as well.
Juwan Johnson, man.
So, yeah, I mean, just saying, but not a whole lot to write about with this game.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up Will Johnson. I think he was the highest graded player in the entire game from PFF. Like, he actually balled out. So, I know it's 1 week and it's the Saints and Spencer Rattler, but hey, he looks like a gem in the second round early.
Yeah.
Should not have fallen that far. All right, buddy, I'm sorry I got to do this to you. Your New York Jets came up just short while Aaron Rodgers returned to MetLife, 4 touchdowns, 244 yards. The Jets' run defense, though, did look very damn good. I think what's slightly concerning about this Steelers backfield is Jaylen Warren had 11 carries, Kenneth Gainwell 7. Not that either of them did anything on the ground, but rookie Caleb Johnson, 1 carry for -2 yards. I personally did not take any Caleb Johnson stock because, to be honest with you, I wasn't necessarily high on him as a prospect. And you knew Jaylen Warren was going to be getting at least 50% of the snaps. Before we get to anything else in this game, are you concerned about Caleb Johnson and his fantasy prowess this season?
No. Let's be honest. Kenneth Gainwell is going to get knocked out of the picture soon.
He better.
I think Caleb Johnson will get a bigger role going forward. I think it's just something where Tomlin's an old school coach. You got to prove it. You got to earn it. So I think he will earn it as he goes forward. But I think by the end of the season, it's just where he was drafted. You didn't draft him in your 6th, 7th round to not be playable and borderline droppable. Like, I actually went against him in a league this week, and it was nice because he got -0.2, where it was like, hey, that guy actually
started him week 1.
I don't know why Newski did that. I guess he just didn't. I guess he forgot to check, or maybe didn't.
Newski, so come on.
I was like, oh, thanks. That felt like a gift. And then it was even more of a gift where it was like, hey, if he actually just didn't put anyone in, he would have done better.
When you put it that way, dude.
-0.2. I was like, wow, it was like even more of a gift. But yeah. And then, I will say, like, I was super impressed with the Jets in this game.
That offense, you got to be impressed with that offense. I was impressed with Sauce Gardner, too. He did a damn good job against Metcalf.
DK.
I know he had 4 for 83, but in totality for that game,
yeah,
like, Sauce kind of locked him down.
No, he did. I think DK had 1 catch when Sauce shadowed him because all of his production came. He led all corners in PFF grade at 90.3. I believe DK had 1 catch for 11 yards against him in like 34 snaps or something like that. So it was like all of his production came against Brandon Stevens, who's already becoming a fan hated. Terrible. And I can, Ravens fans, it's like if the Ravens are getting rid of this guy, like, he's bad because the Ravens are so good. And it's like, but Garrett Wilson looked great. Justin Fields looked great.
Yeah, he did.
Breece Hall looked good.
Come on. We've been beating the drum for Breece Hall, too. What fucking split backfield? 19 carries for Breece Hall for 107 compared to Braylon Allen, 6 for 9. Of course, Braylon Allen snaked the touchdown. Breece Hall also 38 through the air. Allen had nothing through the air. God damn it. Breece Hall looked so damn good. Way better than Braylon Allen. And let's be honest, this Steelers defense is fucking good, man. Cam Hayward, TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith, Jalen Ramsey. Like, they got some dogs. So for Fields to put up over 30 with the way Garrett Wilson looked, which I'm not going to lie, I had a lot of concerns about Garrett Wilson with Fields, but 7 of 9 targets for 95 and a touchdown. Massive. Like, as a Jets fan, I know you lost the game and Rodgers got the win, and he's kind of being a little bit of a dick in the presser after. But you got to be optimistic about this offense at the, like, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. No, I this is what we wanted in Fields, make us not have to draft somebody, keep the job, like give us a future quarterback. So, early indications prove that he could potentially be our guy. Even though we lost, I'm super happy with how we played. I would have liked to see more of the defense, but even like Will McDonald with 2 sacks is nice. Good to see that he's carrying over success from last year. It would be nice to get another wide receiver in there, but I don't know. And I will say, I think Breece Hall will continue on with this because, we'll get into the Bills game a little bit later, but Derrick Henry just gashed them. So I think our scheme is very similar, and Breece Hall could have another big week next week.
Yeah, very, very happy about Breece Hall. If you didn't listen to our fantasy pod, I mean, we got some receipts, but we're all over Breece Hall. So that one was really, really fun to see. Unfortunately, got to do this to you again, buddy. The Panthers, who you're super high end, kind of got their ass kicked 26-10 from the Jags. And in an odd way for the Jags, of course, this game had a rain delay as well. Three lightning delays in week 1. I don't think I remember 3 lightning delays in the past 5 years of football, to be honest with you. Trevor Lawrence did not look good, like, at all. In my opinion, I think he looked trash. He had 178 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. But how does Brian Thomas Jr. have 1 catch for 11 yards on 7 targets? How does Travis Hunter have 6 for 33? That is not good for me. That's an indication on Trevor Lawrence. But hey, they're able to get the win because, Brian Thomas did have a rushing touchdown, so kind of saved your fantasy day a little bit. Travis Etienne, 16 for 143. We talked about it earlier, Etienne. I'm not going to do a victory lap yet, but now they just traded Tank Bigsby after Etienne goes for 16 and 143, and that's 13 and 3 catches in the air. Come on now. You got to be excited about that. On the Panthers side, Bryce Young looked really bad. 2 picks, 154 yards, 1 touchdown. The one positive I'm taking away from this game, well, actually 2. J.C. Horn had a sick pick. He looks like a dog. Ted McMillan looks like a dog, dude. Like, he just looks like he has it. Like, he's a wide receiver 1. 5 for 68 on 9 targets. Made some really acrobatic plays in a game where the offense was anemic. So, for me, if you have Ted McMillan, I'm feeling really damn good on this Monday.
Yeah, and Chuba looked good as well. Chuba had
the
sick receiving touchdown where he made a guy miss and just housed it. So I guess those are probably the 2 guys that you can start, and outside of that, you probably don't want to touch anybody on that Panthers offense. I definitely wasn't happy. I thought this was a good matchup for them. I hate when those weather thing happens, though. I'm not going to make an excuse for either team, but it just kills the momentum. And it was like right before halftime, so they had to go back out and play for 7 minutes and then go have halftime after. So
they should have canceled halftime.
Yeah, you hate when that happens, all those stoppages, because we saw what happened in the Colts Eagles game. There was no scoring after it, and it just, the players are all like not knowing what to do. But yeah, and also, like you said with Lawrence, that's just ugly from the receiving options. 1 for 11 for Brian Thomas on 7 targets. Travis Hunter, at least he caught a bunch of them, so you can get excited. But damn, man, if you drafted Brian Thomas in the first round, don't love to see it. You got bailed by that touchdown. Otherwise, you're looking at 2.5 fantasy points.
Oh, so bailed. I'm definitely concerned about Trevor Lawrence, and I know. I had this debate with my buddies before. I was like, hey, if Trevor Lawrence doesn't take that next step this year, like, I could see him like being traded out of Jacksonville. They're like, nah, you're crazy. And I'm like, hey, I'm just saying, man, if Liam Cohen can't fix him this year, it's a problem. All right, let's move on. Denver takes care of business 20-12 over the Titans. We kind of touched on this game a little bit earlier. We were talking about Survivor. Big thing, Bo Nix, 176 touchdown, 2 picks. I believe he also had a fumble. Yes, he did. So 3 turnovers for Bo Nix. Not a good start, but maybe we should put some respect on that Tennessee defense. Cortland Sutton looked like the wide receiver 1 that he is, 61 yards in that touchdown. J.K. Dobbins, this is the big story from the Denver side, in my opinion. Dobbins gets 16 carries for 63 and a touchdown. I'm not going to lie, he did look pretty good. R.J. Harvey, a lot of people very high on him. had a 50-yard run, 6 carries only, 70 yards, but that 50-yard run. A lot of people are clamoring for Harvey to get in. You know what? I think Dobbins and Harvey kind of meshed well together, and I think they're both going to have roles. What do you think about that backfield split?
Yeah, I think it'll become 50-50 as the season progresses. I mean, Sean Payton, is an old school coach. Like, he's going to put in the veteran first, the guy that can block better. Harvey's got to prove it more. But I think by the end of the year, they'll both have big roles here. This is a team with playoff aspirations, but it's also a team that wants to play defense and run the football. So I think there'll be a lot of opportunities for both of them. And I think both guys are, flex options and, back end RB2s at their peak. I mean, neither guy is going to be an RB1 unless one goes down. You love to see Sutton going off again, having another good game. I thought Ingram would be more involved, but just a weird game overall here. I'm not a whole lot to take away from it. I mean, on the Titans side, the nice thing is Pollard had all the carries. He had 18, and then the backup had 2, Chestnut. So I guess Pollard is going to be a pure volume goat for the next.
Also leading receiver on 1 target with 29 yards.
He had, for fantasy, he didn't burn you. He got over 10 fantasy points without getting in. So, that's what Pollard is. He's going to be a pure volume guy, especially if as long as Spears is out. So, which is a minimum of 4 weeks. And, I hope everyone listened to us saying not play Ridley, because I knew it was not going to be a good matchup for him, and he was going to be touchdown dependent. And sure enough, 4 for 27, he probably burnt you. Wasn't a whole lot to take away from it. I mean, I guess one thing to look at, I knew Ayumanor had 7 targets, so that's definitely something to look at. In Dynasty, if he's in some leagues, maybe just throw him on your bench. It's too late for your taxi spot, but if he's in any Dynasty leagues and you have deep benches, maybe throw him on there, just knowing the fact that, hey, he's the number 2 and his rookie quarterback targeted him 7 times in week 1. Just something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, I know Chimere Dike, I think, had a very long return as well. So those 2 rookies, I think their roles just can expand as the season progresses here. Moving on
Lockett, one more thing. I was just going to say Lockett had 1 target, so he's not.
He's washed, man. He's washed. They got to play the young Bucs and let them grow with Cam Ward, absolutely. But there's going to be some learning curves. There's going to be some speed bumps, so it's going to take some time. Moving to the 4 o'clock slate here, trying to speed through this for you guys. Niners 17-13 win. We touched on the injuries. At what cost? Ricky Pearsall, 4 for 108. Of course, that deep ball from Purdy to really kind of steal the game there. McCaffrey, 9 for 73 receiving. That's awesome. Outside of that, it was kind of, Jake Tongas had that touchdown, his first career catch. I mean, that was electric. You had the Kittle touchdown before he went out. That was really it. Purdy threw 2 picks. He looked all right, I guess, 277. I think the Seattle defense is still pretty good. I was more concerned about the offense. And, Darnold, 150, no touchdowns, no picks, kind of what I expected he was going to look like. The run game wasn't great. Charbonnet, 12-47, the touchdown. Walker, 10 for 20. We already touched on that split and how that's a concern for Walker. The receiving game was just Jackson, Smith, and Jigba.
Which I kind of
targets compared to 3.
Which I kind of thought it would be. Like, that was the only one I wanted. Like, everyone, I didn't understand why Cooper Kupp was going so early after last year.
No,
I don't want any of it.
Man.
I think this is going to be a terrible offense. Like, JSN's the only guy, in that receiving core I'd be interested in. I guess Arroyo's okay just because he's a tight end and they drafted him early, but he's still splitting with Barner, so I'm good. And on the Niners side, I mean, it was good to see Bosa have, the strip sack and,
steal the win there.
6 tackles. So, that's off to showing that he could be a DPOY candidate. And McCaffrey, man, it's so funny. Guys all injured. 32 touches.
32 touches after the calf scare, dude.
32 didn't even score, but still for fantasy, I mean, just a beast. Like, that's why I was trying to get him everywhere, because it's if this guy is healthy, he's just going to be a pure volume horse, and he's involved in all facets, because there's no running back in the league that's a better receiving back than him. I mean, outside of maybe Kamara, but it doesn't matter. He's not in this kind of offense. So
I still think McCaffrey's better than Kamara, because McCaffrey runs more routes downfield. You know what I mean?
Yeah. McCaffrey, yeah, that's what I mean. That's why, to me, he's insane. He's insane. And I'm glad to see him back and healthy.
Absolutely. Moving on, the Packers kind of beat the shit out of the Lions, 27-13 at home. Jordan Love looked awesome, $188, 2 touchdowns. Josh Jacobs, it was tough sledding most of the day. He did still score. I think it's something like 10, 11, 12 games in a row that he has a touchdown. So, they're really going to continue to rely upon him. The passing attack, just as you would expect, really spread out. The leading receiver was Dobbs with 2 catches, 68. Reed had the most receptions at 3, had the touchdown. Kind of what it was last year, right? For Jaden Reed, it's like if he scores, he has a big week. If not, it's going to be a dud. Rookie Matthew Golden only 2 for 16 on 4 targets. On 2 targets in his debut. Not ideal. Tucker Kraft had a touchdown. I was pretty high on him. Just the way the Packers win, great defense. And Micah Parsons also had his first sack. And then they spread the ball around, they run the football, and they just take care of the ball. So kind of what you expect from their side. For the Lions, the run game was a major concern to me. 11 for 25 for Monty, 9 for 19 for Gibbs.
Yeah, when has that ever happened?
I don't remember ever seeing a stat line like that. I don't know. This is kind of what I expected and why I took Green Bay, because I was like, no Ben Johnson, there might be some rust here. Like, we got to see this new play caller in action. So, that's kind of why I stayed away from it. But, at least Gibbs didn't totally burn you in fantasy because he had 10 catches, only for 31 yards. But, Goff, just a ton of check downs. Laporta, 6 for 79. Amarov, 4 for 45. No touchdowns for his Lions offense. We're not used to seeing that.
No, they had the one at the end, but it was garbage time.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. Yeah, Isaac Tesla, the one-handed. I'm sorry. Yeah, who's apparently they said is going to get a bigger role in this offense moving forward after that.
Yeah, no, I think he'll totally take over the number 3, and we were talking about that. And he's another guy that if he's out in your dynasty leagues, go grab him. He's a rookie out of Arkansas. Definitely, could have a big role. We think this is not going to be the norm for the Lions, where they're a terrible looking offense. Like, we expect this to be a high powered offense. So there definitely can be some opportunities down the stretch. I wouldn't panic too much on the Lions side of things. My biggest takeaway from the Packers receiver core is that nothing's changed, and none of these guys are really anything more than flex options. And even then, I wouldn't be like excited about it. Really, even Jordan Love, like, I don't want him as my starting quarterback in a fantasy league. Like, Josh Jacobs to me is the only guy that I would want to be playing, and Tucker Kraft's fine too, just because.
Yeah, I like Kraft.
It's the tight ends. Like, there are going to be weeks where he does have 7 or 8 catches. It's just like, what week is that going to be? But it still doesn't matter because it's a tight end.
Moving on here, the Rams took care of business at home against the Texans, 14-9. This was an ugly, ugly, ugly game. Puka Nacua is just an absolute dog, though. Had to leave the game twice with blood going down his face. Still at 10 for a $130. Devontae, 4 for 51 in his debut. The run game, Kyren Williams, of course, punched one in as he usually does, as the wheel just lost. Caleb Williams, first touchdown. Damn, that's sad.
He was on
Stafford,
the wheel, too.
Yeah. Stafford, 21 of 29 for 245 and a touchdown. The offense, it wasn't sexy, but you know what? That defense was able to get to work. They had 3 sacks against this Houston front. CJ Stroud did not look good. 188, a pick. Nick Chubb, 60 yards, a little washed up there. Leading receiver, Jaden Higgins, the rookie, 2 for 32. A little bit concerned about this Texans offense, man. I'm not going to lie. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I was concerned, and I highlighted how concerned I was going into it, and I got a lot of hate from Texans fans. I'm not taking my victory lap yet, but I had a feeling this was going to be a big issue with them, is the offensive line isn't great. Joe Mixon was a huge part of that team last year. He's gone. I don't believe in Nick Chubb, and there are a lot of injuries in that receiving core right now. Like, Christian Kirk's already banged up. Tank Dell's gone right now with injuries. You're relying on a lot of rookie wide receivers and a lot of Nico Collins, and when you don't have a good run game, and you don't have a lot of good weapons, it's pretty easy to go, hey, let's take out that one good guy and make him beat us everywhere else.
Yeah.
Pretty good game plan. But Stroud hasn't looked at, it's one game, but he didn't look great last year, and I don't know if that's going to change this year. It's still, like, if the weapons can get healthy and some guys can come back, maybe when the schedule lightens up, but, that definitely scares me. On the Rams side of things, like, yeah, there's a big win. It's a big win against a great defense. Houston does still have a phenomenal defense. And
they do.
Kyren gets in. Puka obviously is still a stud. So for those that were maybe worried about Devontae Adams coming in and, pushing his number 1 role, no, it's pretty clear. It's Puka's the number 1, and Adams is going to be a complimentary guy to him. If 10 targets for 130 or 10 catches for 130 doesn't tell you that, I don't know what does. But yeah, that's kind of my takeaways.
Yeah. It is. I mean, that is how I saw the game going defensively for Houston. I just thought they could score more points than 9. Just a little frustrating. I was off on that one. Should have took the home team and the Rams.
Well, I also thought the Rams would get more sacks. I was actually surprised they only got 3. Like, especially when they hold them to 9 points, like you'd think they would be more of a sack fest. And also, Kyron got paid, but it's nice to see too that he had 18 carries. Only one other running back had a carry, and it was Blake Corum with 1 carry. So to have 18 of the 19 running back carries, it's clear it's still his backfield.
Yep, McVay loves the workhorse role. All right, last game here to bring us home. Bills, Ravens. I'm not going to lie, man. I fell asleep at halftime, and I woke up literally as they were kicking the field goal. I was like, what the hell just happened? And I see the Bills 41-40. And then I see, the Ravens had a 99.5% chance to win the game, and they blew it. I mean, we could talk about all the stats here, like Derrick Henry, buck 69, 2 touchdowns. Lamar, 2 passing touchdowns, also 70 rushing and a touchdown. Josh Allen threw for nearly 400 yards. He threw for like over 200 yards in the fourth quarter. 2 touchdowns. Keon Coleman, 112, touchdown. Dalton Kincaid looked good. Happy about that call as well early on. It was a little bounce back. James Cook, not huge on the ground, which this Ravens front's hard. Still scored on the ground and had a monster catch of 51 yards. Zay Flowers, 7 for 143. Touchdown. What a fantasy football fan's dream. Like, wow, this was a sick game. Like, holy shit. So, Bills get it done, 41-40 for me. What a fun football game. I'm such a dick, and I'm so mad I fell asleep at half. A lot of people are saying this could be the game of the year, and it was week 1. So, I don't know. For me, AFC Championship preview. I'm happy it went that way. What'd you think?
I think on the Ravens side of things, just what another brutal loss to Buffalo in a big game. Lamar looked great. I mean, 14 completions for 209 yards is crazy. They were just kind of marching all over this Bills defense. I think both teams have big issues on defense. They couldn't stop a nosebleed. I get it's great offenses, but still. And it's not even really great offenses. It's just great quarterbacks that make the players around them better. Mm-hmm. Derrick Henry obviously is still great. At age 31, people were like, is he going to drop off this year? No. Stop letting him fall to the second round in fantasy drafts. Draft him in the first round. He's going to be good. He's going to finish as one of the top guys. I mean, 169-2 is ridiculous. He still got it. Zay Flowers, 7 for 143 and 1. I mean, it is funny to look at it like that he basically had all of the receiving yards from Lamar. I would have liked to see Andrews do more without Likely there.
Yeah, what the fuck was that, dude? I thought he was going to have a good game, and he's been a touchdown machine for them. That was weird. I mean, DeAndre Hopkins, the one-handed touchdown was pretty sick, too.
Yeah. And on the Bills side, I mean, Josh, obviously, what a game. I mean, that's why you draft him early in fantasy drafts, because he can get you 4 touchdowns and over 400 yards. James
MVP.
Cook. Yeah, James Cook looked all right. The receiving core, though, like Palmer, Shakir, Coleman, all heavily involved, heavily targeted. Kincaid as well. I mean, seems like all those guys are going to, could be more involved. But, teams got to push Buffalo. This is like a rare game script where they were trailing a lot. So, I don't know. But Kincaid definitely more involved this year.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, look, that wraps up the week 1 breakdown here. Talking about all the games. We'll get to Vikings-Bears later on in the week when we drop our week 2 predictions. 7-0 Bears right now. Looks like it's going to be a fun one. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Drop a comment. Let us know. What are you most surprised about from week 1? What do you think we should be overreacting about? Or maybe, hey, we got to hit the brakes on some of our takes today. We love hearing from you guys. Drop a comment. Drop a like. We'll see you soon here on Around the Felt.